have a voice. You don't just have the voice. If you're connected or elected, you have a voice.
Elon can't do and won't do anything without our approval, and we'll give him the approval where appropriate. Where not appropriate, we won't. But he does have a good natural instinct. He's got a team of very talented people. We're trying to shrink government, and he can probably shrink it as well as anybody else, if not better.
We represent 37 agencies, and each of those agencies delivers for the American people. You know, do you depend on having clean water? Do you want your food inspected so you know what you're eating? Do you know what's coming across the border? All of those things are supported by federal employees and are at risk. They've issued at least 3 emails that I am aware of pushing this deferred resignation. The Treasury Department has informed the IRS that even employees who ask to go on this, if they are part of the filing season, they will not be permitted until May 15th. And so, can you imagine being an employee who has received a letter of this nature, told you're not really productive, we want to get rid of you, resign now, but wait a minute, we need you through May 15th because you're involved in the filing season. Again, these letters went across the board to 2.3 million federal employees and asked them to end their careers. Nobody has taken the work away. Nobody has said what will happen to the services that the American people depend on. And yet they've been asked to sign an agreement that is unclear, does not provide any guidance for them, and there's no guarantees for it. In fact, the documents that have been given to these employees gives 100% power to the government and 0 to the employee. So if you sign this document and then later change your mind, you are left without any power to fight back. And so for those reasons, I do not recommend people sign a document. They need to have control of their own career, and this document does not give it to them.
I've also taken strong action to regain control of the Washington bureaucracy. Just for clarification purposes, because it was incorrectly reported yesterday, we have informed the federal workforce, which they've looked to do for many years, that if they're working for the federal government, they must show up to the office on time and on schedule. We don't want them. We don't want them to work from home because, as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working. We're requiring them to show up to work or be terminated. We think a very substantial number of people will not show up to work, and therefore our government will get smaller and more efficient, and that's what we've been looking to do for many, many decades, frankly. Just for clarification purposes, because it was incorrectly reported yesterday, we have informed the federal workforce, which they've looked to do for many years, that if they're working for the federal government, they must show up to the office on time and on schedule. We don't want them to work from home because, as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working, they're not very productive, and it's unfair to the millions of people in the United States who are in fact working hard from job sites and not from their home. As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government, they're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government. Most of the people we're talking about have not been going to their federal offices in many, many years, from even before COVID. But they have nevertheless been paid. Some have worked, some haven't worked, and most of the studies say that some have just gone through the motions. We may ask these people to prove that they didn't have another job during their so-called employment with the United States of America, because if they did, that would be unlawful.
What are you signing now, sir?
It's an executive order relating to reforms to the federal workforce, including to the senior executive service.
We're getting rid of all of the cancer, I call it cancer, the cancer caused by the Biden administration.